Hey guys, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Crystal Rowe and this is Flosstube number 44, I think. And I am going to get this the first time and not have to redo it. Yay! Okay, so I have quite a bit of life update stuff and some stitching and some things to talk about, so I'm excited to get started. And I hope for those of you who don't like life update stuff, I'm sorry, I do a lot of that here. So that's just who I am. I talk about my personal life, and I like to kind of get that out in the beginning and just sort of like, because if I don't, it's like always in the forefront of my mind. And anyway, I just got to get it out. So I'm going to look at my list and try to make sure that I talk about everything that I have written down. So the first thing is StitchCon. I registered for StitchCon B, got my spot, and if you've been watching me for a long time, you know it's been kind of a little bit of a roller coaster because I wasn't sure about how to deal with my son. I initially was going to go without him, and then we decided it would be best if my husband and son went, and we made a family vacation out of it, where the first part of the week we did family things like water parks, zoos, things like that, and then during StitchCon he and my husband just did their own thing. So that was our plan. And in January my mom had a spine surgery and it did not go as planned. My mom also has other health conditions, the main one being congestive heart failure. So what we thought was going to be a little bit of an easier recovery for her has been a very long, drawn out process. And I don't live with her. She has her own apartment, but she's about 1 mile from me, and I do help her quite a bit. So I realized a few weeks ago that the clock was ticking, and I did not think that I could leave my mom for that amount of time, especially for that long of a drive, because it is about 9 hours for us. So if there was an emergency, it would just, that's a long way to bring a family of 3 back in case of emergency. And you know, she might be fine on Monday, and then on Wednesday or Thursday I've got to take her to the doctor like pronto. So while my mom's health is, well, let me put it this way, her recovery from her spine surgery is progressing. Her heart has not, it has declined. So I started thinking, you know, I don't think I can go, and I was really disappointed about that. So I kind of thought about it, and one day I just woke up and I was like, I need to check and see when the cutoff is for canceling. So I looked, and you can cancel up until the time of the show, but to get a full refund you had to cancel by May 1st. And I thought about it and I was like, that's just, I don't think it's enough time. And if I cancel now, I can get a refund and give someone else my spot that, you know, has time to plan for their trip. So I did go ahead and cancel, and I had a pity party. I would say for like, I had a big pity party for a couple hours, and then, sorry, there's like a fly or something. Then as the day went on, I just sort of thought about it, and I was like, you know, I'm super bummed because I wanted to hang out with everyone. You know, everyone who I get to talk to on, you know, through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Zoom, I wanted to see everybody and just hang out. And that's the most disappointing part for me. But I knew it was the right decision the more I thought about it, because I thought, you know, how could I enjoy myself not knowing if my mom has everything she needs and things like that. And that's even if I could go. And the stress of not being able to plan one way or the other was really getting to me, because you know, with my son, because he's autistic, there's a lot of planning involved. and also things like pet sitters, you know, all of that. So, okay, so my husband came home that night from work, and I said, well, I kind of mentioned to him before, I said, I don't know about leaving Mom, and he's like, okay, well, whatever you decide to do. So I said, well, I canceled my registration for StitchCon, and I said, so we're not going to Cincinnati, and he said, well, today I found out that my vacation wasn't approved. So he didn't get his vacation approved anyway, and it was only because his day job, he works at a manufacturing facility, and they shut down for the whole week of 4th of July every year. So he uses vacation days for that week, so that, because it's not paid anyway. It's, if you work in manufacturing, you know. So I guess because StitchCon is 2 weeks before that, they really couldn't afford for him to be off that week because of the amount of work that they have to get done before the shutdown. So his vacation wasn't approved. At this time, it was not approved. So he couldn't have went anyway. So I was like, well, you know, now we know. So I am going to register for 2023. Well, I'm going to attempt to. You know, you have to get on there and get there first. So I am going to register for 2023, and I will plan on going by myself, not as a family. We'll plan a different family vacation. So I'm not giving up, and I did get on a waiting list for a retreat in the fall. So if they have something open up, and it's closer to my house, it's only 3 hours away. So if something opens up, maybe I'll get to do that. So yeah. Unfortunately, everybody's going to be at StitchCon B. I'm sorry I won't get to see you, and yeah. But you know, we have to make these decisions. So that's it about HitchCon. Now, the dogs are Mose and Stormy are playing, so if you hear that. But a few days ago, actually it was last weekend, I was talking to him about some stuff, and he said, oh yeah, this weekend in July, I have a conference in Charleston, South Carolina, and he's like, you and Parker can go with me. So, because his hotel room is paid for by work, but, so we just cover our own meals and everything. So we'll get a little weekend vacation, in Charleston, so I can take Parker to the beach or whatever, and we'll find something to do, eat some good seafood. So that's exciting, because we still get to go somewhere, you know, that's not far away, and that would only be for like 2 nights or something, maybe 3, probably 2. So, and that's only 3 hours from my mom, so, and that gives her a lot more time to recover. That's like 5 more weeks to recover. So hopefully that'll all work out. So that's my big StitchCon update, and let me look at my list. Okay, I just finished school. I just had finals, so I didn't get a ton of stitching done because I had so much schoolwork. And so the semester's done. I'm super happy to get a break. I'm glad I stuck with it, because there was a time when I wanted to quit, especially around midterms. I got really overwhelmed, and I told my husband, I was like, I can't do this. You know, I'm overwhelmed with everything. And he's like, don't give up. Keep going, keep going. So I'm glad I listened to him and I didn't give up. So I have 2 weeks off, and then I start my summer term. I'm taking two classes this summer, both online. Okay, we're getting ready for a yard sale. My life update's long this week. Weather pending, our town is having what they call a town-wide yard sale. If you live in the South or somewhere where they have a lot of yard sales, it's where basically the main street of the town becomes one big yard sale, and then people have them in their yards. So we're having one at our house, because I'm not trudging everything up there to town. So we are prepping for that. So I'm getting rid of all my homeschool stuff, which is really hard because it's a lot of money. But I'm hoping that some homeschool moms will come out, and they will be very happy with what they find. So that season of her life is over for now, and definitely those grades that I have. So I'm trying to unload all those books and supplies and activity things, and Mike is going through all of his eBay inventory, and taking out some stuff, you know, that he's had listed for a long time. So we're hoping to have a good turnout. So that's what we'll be working on for the rest of this week. And hopefully it doesn't rain. And we usually, when we have a yard sale, some of my friends come. So we have like a 3 or 4 family yard sale, my mother-in-law. So we just like have a huge one all across our yard. And it's a lot of fun. It gives us time to hang out and goof off or whatever. So before COVID, we had those at least once a year, if not twice a year. And it's always a lot of fun. The kids play and we complain about the heat. So, okay, on the stitching, I had a Zoom this past Friday, and that was great. I enjoyed that so much. Thank you to everyone who hopped on the Zoom. It's just so nice to be able to chit-chat and laugh and just talk about stuff and get some stitching done in between all that. So hopefully it won't be too long before I can have another Zoom. I would love to have them every other week. It just hasn't worked out that way. So when I can have them, I'll post them. Maybe those of you who haven't been able to jump on before, maybe you'll be able to. And okay, so finally some stitching. My timer says 11 minutes. So for those of you who hate life updates, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I'm not really sorry. I mean, that's who I am. So hopefully you like my channel when I get life updates. Alright, I have 2 previous finishes because I have no FFOs. So I pulled this out of storage. I kind of forgot about it. This is the Lizzie Kate Buzzy String. And this is stitched on 28 count mushroom Lugana. And I finished this on this board from Dollar General. And put this little flower. And I love this. Now, I did recently buy a wooden piece to use for finishing my Lizzie Kate strings. So, but I think I'm going to keep this one on this board. I'll have to see. I hate to take it apart because I love the little flower and the way the ribbon goes. So, and it does have a hanger, but I don't hang it. I just set it on the top, not my mantle, but it's like, we don't use our fireplace. It's like, what's that, like the grate that goes right above where you would put the fire. We don't use our fireplace. It has a glass door and it's non-functioning. I'm sure the house would burn down if we tried to start a fire in there. And then this is a previous finish. I love this. This stays up all year round, but it's springish, summerish, so I pulled it down. This is Prancing in the Tulips by Lindy Stitches. This is from the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. I don't know which one. It was her series of cats last year. So I wanted to stitch all 4. This is the only one I've actually stitched, and I just love it. So it's precious, and I hot glued it to this thing I bought at Dollar General and stuck that bow on there. So yeah, my intention was to switch them out seasonally, but I love this one. I keep it up in my dining room all year round. So those are my previous finishes. And let's move on to my I have one finish. And that is not at the top of my pile. Alright. It is my May Hilltop Cross Stitch Club from Pine Mountain Designs in Pine Needles, Utah store. And I do love this, but I tell you, I probably had, this one wasn't as fun to stitch. Now, I still enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoyed it. But, it wasn't as fun as the other ones have been. So, I haven't FFO'd it. I had to do a bunch of color substitutions because I just didn't have it. And then down here, I changed the sequence of these little dots, which you wouldn't know unless you stitched it yourself. So it does have a cute little queen bee. And this is on the Aida that they give you, and it's, you know, it's your regular Aida that you buy anywhere, and it's kind of crunchy. It does soften a little bit as you stitch, but the edges are still kind of crunchy. So when you're finishing, it can be kind of difficult to get around that shape. And I was chatting with Courtney of Courtney Stitches Please, and she was talking about how she was talking about how she had trouble finishing it too, and I think she said she might try it on a different fabric or a different Aida, or I can't remember, but I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to try that too, because it just would be easier to finish if this was softened up. Which I guess I could wash it. What do you guys think? If I washed a piece of Aida and let it dry, do you think it would soften it up better? I've never done that before. But what I really love about this are the finishing pieces. They are so cute. So I can't wait to actually get to finish it. I was going to do a bunch of finishing yesterday, and the day got away from me because I started sorting through everything in my desk, all the paperwork that is built up, and when I got my finishing stuff out last night, it was a little bit too late, and I was tired, and things were just not clicking, and I just could not finish what I had started. It was horrible. It was so ugly. So I am just going to try it a different time. Probably not today, but a different time, and get that finished. So, was today May 4th? So, may the 4th be with you. So yeah, I still have April up, so I'll get it finished next day or two. At least that one, if nothing else. But I had a stack of stuff I wanted to FFO. Just didn't work out. And there was something, I don't know. I haven't received June yet. It shipped out yesterday, so I'll be receiving that shortly. I love those. So, Pine Needles, Utah, if you want to sponsor me, I'm open. Send me all the stuff. I love you guys. Okay. So, let's talk about Whip Go. I don't talk about Whip Go a lot, mostly because I don't do it very much. My foot's going to sleep, y'all. I'm going to have to wiggle it. Actually, I went too ahead. I'm going to talk about comments. I have my laptop here. Oh, my foot's asleep. I'm at the pause. I was sitting on it. I was sitting crisscross applesauce. Ooh. Y'all, it's tingling. Okay. If I went down, it's because I'm sitting regular now. I'm not sitting crisscross applesauce like that. Alright, so I'm going to go through some comments from last week. And the first one is from Robin. And it's kind of a longer comment. So I am just going to read part of it. I was talking about my Autism Elephants stitch that I'm doing from can't think of the name. The Dutch Mania ladies. Primitive. Oh my goodness. It has completely escaped my mind. Twin Peak Primitives. Okay. And she said she loves my elephant stitch and my changes are so sweet. I could put amazing under them because I was talking about changing the word. So she suggested writing amazing. I thought that was a good suggestion. And she wrote some other stuff, and then she said she has Savior's Praise kitted and ready to go, and it was going to be her Easter start, but actually she had to work all weekend, so she didn't start it yet. Sal, question mark. So yes, Robin, I would love to sell it. However, if you're wanting to start it now, I don't even have the chart. So I have to get the chart, pick out a fabric, and get all the threads. So if you have already started it, come up with a hashtag, and I'll jump on board when I get everything ready. So I would love to do that. I just don't have anything yet. And I don't want to hold you back. So you go ahead and start it. Or if you already have, and we'll just do a hashtag when I start it. Alright, so Marissa and her mom have an awesome Flosstube. I always get it confused. Knit and stitch or stitch and knit. So what I do is I go looking for them. And it's like, I always get it backwards. So I'll have to put down here which one it is. And she was telling me that Floss Ties the Floss Toss ladies on Flosstube are doing a Savior's Praise, or they did it, and to check them out. So I am going to check them out. And I am so behind on Flosstube because of school mostly. And now that I'm done, I'm going to get caught up. I'm going to just like binge Flosstube over the next couple of weeks so I can get caught up on everybody. So there is a new Flosstuber to me that I will talk about. And let me find another comment. Okay, Sharon Williams. Let me tell you how sweet Sharon is. Okay, Sharon won a giveaway. Speaking of giveaways, I have everything mailed out except for my 2 international recipients. So if you're international and you're waiting, I have to go to the post office to do the international first class mail. I can't do that from my computer home, so that's why I haven't mailed it out yet. So Sharon, she says she can't wait to see me start Lady Justice. Is that the mirror that she's seen done on the Constitution fabric? Maybe. The one I see on the Constitution fabric a lot is, sorry if that's shaking, I'm hitting the table, is Lady of the Flag. So that's the one with the lady that has the flag draped, which is beautiful and out of print. So that one is harder to get. Lady Justice is the one that has the sword and scales, and she has it like a teal, like aqua and green dress that Pam from Just Keep Stitching, she recently finished. Or not recently, but you know, in the past 2 or 3 years. Anyway, I have seen that one done on Constitution fabric too. So I picked out a Grace Notes Fabrics to stitch mine on, but I would kind of like to get the Constitution fabric and see which one I want to do, but I'm not sure yet. So yeah, we'll see. But okay, so I forgot to finish telling my story about Sharon. So Sharon won a giveaway, the last giveaway, and I lost not 1, but 2 giveaway items. Cannot find them anywhere, and either I misplaced them, or the way I like to think about it is my husband misplaced them, because I had them on the top of my desk next to our printer. Well, he moved some stuff around and I moved some stuff around, and I mean, I went through everything multiple times, and they're gone. So either I completely had like blanked out and threw them away. Why would I throw them away? I don't know. It's one of these charts and a pack of line keepers. So it's not like a sheet of paper. It has some weight to it. These are heavy cardstock, and the line keepers are, it's 2 big magnets. So I emailed Sharon. I told her I was sorry, and I asked her if she would like a project bag, so I sent her a project bag. She was so sweet about it. And that's the second time that has happened that I've lost a giveaway. I just don't know. I mean, I have certain places that I put things from my cross-stitch stuff and my sewing stuff, and I'm just like, where did it go? It's gone into the abyss. So anyway, thank you, Sharon, for being so understanding. And, you know, if it ever turns up, I'll just mail it to her. But the only thing I can think of is it got thrown away. I don't know. Okay, so long story long, or short story long. And okay, so I was talking about struggling on 40 count, being so slow on 40 count, and Stacy from Stacy Stitches, she said, have you thought about trying a 20 count rather than 40 count? Maybe that would help. And I thought that was a really good idea. So yes, I need to try a 20 count and see if I like stitching on that. Because thank you, Stacy, for the suggestion. And speaking of giveaways, I did draw for the last giveaway, which was the April Hilltop chart. And the winner is Teresa Chuckle. And Teresa says, Hi, Crystal. I'm so sorry to hear about your fur baby. Thank you. I love your FFO. It's adorable. Love seeing your progress on your whips and love your happy mail. We just started April. Now we're at the ends. Months are flying by. Have a wonderful Thursday and happy stitching. Teresa is like, she's one of, like, I consider her like a Flosstube cheerleader. And there's a lot of you all that are Flosstube cheerleaders where you are super supportive of the Flosstubers. And that's so appreciated. It really is. So, Teresa, I have your info on the Happy Mail form, I'm pretty sure, so I don't think you need to send me anything. So, I will get that out to you. Alright, so that's all my comments. That's the giveaway. And I'm going to get crisscross applesauce again because I feel like I'm just trying to go like this to talk, and I'm going to get a drink of coffee, and it's 25 minutes in, and I've only shown like one thing I've stitched. Alright. Now, whip go. This is my whip go board. I don't need to zoom in. I'll just tell you guys. So basically, for the month of March, no, this is May, the month of April, my first pick, number 7, was a Dimensions Christmas Village ornament. And I really wanted to do that, but I didn't get to it at all. So that one I did not get. Then the other one for April was supposed to be Snow Village by Country Cottage Needleworks, which is my oldest whip for 5 days. Well, when I looked at that and it was called, I was like, I don't want to stitch it at all. Why did I put it on there? I don't know. So I marked it out and I picked another one. Just one that I wanted to do. So I picked Teresa Kogut's Peacemaker to replace Snow Village because I can, because it's my whip go, my board, my rules, or whatever it is everybody says. So I think I showed this last time. This is the chart, and I love it. I got this from the the Expo last year. I started this on New Year's. And I'm pretty sure I took a picture of this before I started it. And if I did, I'll insert it. And this is where I am now. I'm stitching this on 25 count Lori Holt Pebble Lugana. And I'm working on the right wing. So if you look far away, you can't see it. If you look closely, you can see the outline. And I talked about this in my previous video. Hang on a second, I got a weird message. Okay. It was like a message from the emergency alert system. That's why I had to stop and look, because usually we only get those if we have a tornado. So I'm looking outside. It's not tornado weather, but it was just a message. Alright, so anyway, I showed on how I chose this darker fabric, and the outlining does not show up until you fill it in with the ecru. So this is so much fun. I love it. I love stitching on 25 count Lugana. It's definitely just my relaxing sweet spot. Alright, I had to cancel a call. I have to leave my phone on as much as possible because of my mom, but usually I would put it on Do Not Disturb. So that's where I'm at. Basically, I'm working on this right here. So I'm trying to get this whole angel wing done first. And I love it. I love every stitch. So I would have gotten more done, but finals. So yeah, even though that's what I did for April Whip Go, 5 days. I don't know if I got 5 days on it. A lot of days, when my dog passed away, I didn't want to stitch, and then I've had a lot of schoolwork. So a lot of days, either I didn't get to stitch or I only stitched for like 30 minutes. So it may have been 5 days. Alright, so for May Whip Go, the numbers called, in which you've probably heard this 1,000 times now, is freebie day number 13, which what I chose for 13 was try a new designer. And then for the other one was 8, and mine is Halloween Whip or a new start. and the other one was 14, which was a Valentine's whip or new start. Well, I was like, no, I'm not doing Valentine's Day. I'm not doing it. So for Halloween whip, I chose something that wasn't exactly Halloween, but it's more fall, and it's also a new designer to me. So what I did is I did a Stitch With Me video, which was really Color With Me, where I started prepping for the summer house. Well, this is the autumn house. So when I started to do the summer house, I started trying to pull threads, and I had almost none of the called for colors. And I was having a hard time substituting, because you're not just substituting one green, you're substituting 3 or 4 greens. And I was getting really frustrated trying to do that. So I never started it. So when the whip go numbers were called, I thought, well, I will do this for Halloween, because even though it's fall, it has a crow, it has a spider. Don't look, Tracy. And it has pumpkins. So yeah, that can be Halloween. And I love it. I love the colors. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might know where I'm going with this. So I started it on a 14 count beige. Now, where is it, you might ask? Well, I don't have it, because I stitched a lot of this tree, and I was having so much fun. I have not really stitched anything charted like this. There's a lot of, I don't want to say confetti, but I guess a lot of the charts I stitch are more fill-in, and this is more scattered to give a different kind of dimension. And I was having a lot of fun with that. And I love the colors, and I was excited, and I put my stitching down. I had made a fresh cup of coffee and set it on my table. I use an extra large TV tray table for my stand. All of my supplies, well, the supplies I use regularly, and I have a coaster, and I put my drink on the very end. And I just try to be really careful. So I get up, I'm waking Parker up for school, and I hear a crash. And I come in here into the living room, and my metal Lori Holt chart stand and half of my stuff is in the floor in a puddle of coffee. Everything else is on the stand soaked in coffee. I knew one of the animals did it. They wanted some coffee. Well, there's one that likes coffee more than the others, and who is not experienced in life enough to understand the difference between hot coffee and cold coffee. So I had to be careful with the dogs. Like, if the coffee gets cold, they will come over and try to lap it up. So I do have to keep an eye on it. Well, I wasn't sure, but I believe it was Miss Stormy that was trying to get her a sip of coffee, and probably burnt her tongue or slipped, and that's why everything just went crashing to the floor. So I started cleaning it up. My complete stitching piece was soaked and ruined. All the floss that I had on the table was ruined. Some of it was floss that I had pulled for other projects. Some of it was floss that I was using. Everything got soaked, so I threw away everything that was like floss or paper or whatever. Everything else I had to clean with towels and everything. I didn't put another stitch in yesterday. I was so aggravated. I just did not have the heart to get anything out to stitch. So I have more of that fabric. I still have the other floss that I didn't have pulled like on the table at that time, which is what I had pulled was like what I was working on right here, and a couple of the greens. So I probably will start it back up, because I love this series, and I kind of wanted to do it all one piece, and I thought, well, maybe this would be my opportunity to do it like all 4 houses in one piece. I don't know. But yeah, so today my coffee has a lid. Just the way my area is set up, that's just unfortunately, that was the best place for me to put my drink. So, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that later Stormy jumped up on the table before I had set everything back up, and she was laying on the table. And I said, yeah, I think Stormy's the one, because she's returned to the scene of the crime. I'll insert that picture here. Miss Stormy. So, that's, oh, and that's also a new designer. So, that's my whip go for May. Alright, so now I'm just going to go through my whips. You're like, get with it, lady. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing the Twin Peak Primitives. This is their Autism Chart. And this was a fundraiser, or is a fundraiser, for special needs orphans of Ukraine. And I chose to start mine on 14 count whitewash board. This is a piece I had from another project down there. And I outlined the mom elephant. And this has been my school car line project. So it looks funky because it's just the outline. And then I chose Weeks Dye Works Confetti to stitch the baby elephant, who is represents my son. And I ran out of this color. So I thought I had enough to stitch the elephant, but I don't. So I did order that from Etsy, and it actually is supposed to be here today. So I want to finish. This is the boring part. So I'm going to make myself finish this whole elephant, and then I can stitch the baby elephant, which will be the fun part. So instead of doing the puzzle pieces, which I mentioned before, I'm just going to be using the variegated floss and just kind of making it like splatter. Like, make it look, you know, splotches of color. So that's really meaningful for me. That was my Autism Awareness Month start. And for the end result, my initial plan is to use that and put it into, make it the front of a project bag. So we'll see if that works. Alright, my next one, I just worked on a little bit. Sorry, I didn't realize I had this in layers of bags. This is the Lindy Stitches Saltwater Scrapbook. And this is a 2-part series between her and a Blue Flower. Blue Flower has part 1, hers is part 2. And let me see if there's a picture of the whole thing here. Yeah, so this is what all of them look like together. They just released the spring version at Nashville Needlework Market. And the one I'm doing is this one. Was that a hammerhead shark? Is that what that's called? I think it's a hammerhead shark. And I'm stitching this on, I think I know, but I need to find my card just in case. XU Designs Light Turquoise. It's really hard to pick that up. It's so pretty in person. And that's how far I've gotten. So they don't have eyes yet. This is a 32 count. The actual color, oh, I wish I could get it. It's just not showing the turquoisey. It's a little bit brighter than that in person. And it's in a Halloween bag. This is one of my oops bags. Oops bags. Because it's upside down. See, that's the front. And the back is upside down. And well, my fur baby decided to join me. I have a new start. This is Kitty String by Lizzie Kate. I wanted to, well, I have a bunch of these to do. This was from Candace K gifted me these. And I'm doing it on a scrap of 32 count natural linen. I just pulled colors from my stash, and I just have the last part of the alphabet with the ball of yarn. So these are a lot of fun. I'm going to do the doggy string too, but I wasn't quite ready to kit that up yet. Wait a little bit so I don't get sad. And my next one is another new start. This is from the Lindy Stitches Bird Crush Club. This is the black-throated gray warbler. This is the picture it's based off of. This is a monthly club. And I started this, I actually picked this beautiful purple. This is on Grace Notes Fabrics Blackberry Latte. And the floss that I started with is the Threadworks variegated floss that comes with the pattern. You get one of these every month. And this is super fun. I loved every little stitch I did on this. I loved. So I can't wait to work some more on it. I have one of those done already that I need to FFO. And my new one is in the mail. Okay, so I wasn't quite sure if I even worked on this one, but I'm going to pull it out and look at it. I think I put just a little bit in. This is my Mill Hill Winter Glow. And I think I just got maybe one more color put in since my last floss tube. This one's hard to show because it's perforated paper. But I think I just did like one more color of the spiral since my last floss tube. So I didn't get very much done on that. But I do love it. My next one is a new start that I just wanted to experiment with. So this was Stitchy Kindness from Candy, and she sent me a bunch of these, and I immediately wanted to start the church. Well, I have some of that fabric. I have a scrap of that fabric, the 25 count Lori Holt Prim Lugana, because it's what I stitched my mom's Winter Rose Manor on. And I have been wanting to try, oh my gosh, this is so tiny. I have been wanting to try 1/1 on 25 count, and I thought this is a great time because I have the scraps of fabric. Look how tiny that is. So I did it. I kitted up, and I just started the very corner. Look at that, how tiny. Let's see if that's focusing. See my big finger next to it. That's 1/1 on 25 count. That's just a teeny tiny little corner of that. Now, I had fun doing it, but I felt like my stitches aren't even, but it's so tiny you can't even see it. So I don't know, I'm going to try a little bit more, and if I still feel like they're not even, and maybe it's because this Lugana is softer than a 25 count regular even weave, I don't know. But it was really fun to do that little part. So we'll see. I don't know. I just want to play around, experiment with it. Alright, so my last whip to show you is, I just did a tiny bit on this. This is my May calendar crates. And I just want to stitch this to keep this up during spring. And I basically just stitched on this morning before I got Parker ready for school. So I finished some of this truck and I did this white stitching right here, and that's all I've done. And I started unpicking my mistake because I started it like this and it was wrong. So I started unpicking that to clear it up for me to move down. And that's by stitching with the Housewives. And so, yeah, that's it for my whips. And I have two things for the wish list. Let me take a drink of coffee. So wish list is, if you're new here, because I haven't done this in a while, I think. Wish list is where I just post pictures of charts that I have seen on social media while shopping or looking at stuff. Just charts that catch my eye that I really love. Some of them I go on to buy and stitch. Some of them I just really love. And it's just things that have recently caught my eye. Well, the first one is one that I saw on eBay, and I had never seen it before, and I fell in love with it. Well, I almost bought it that day. It was like $20. I assumed that it was maybe out of print or something, and that's why it was $20. So I Googled it. No, I don't know why these people wanted $20 for it. You can buy it for $10, $10.95 on like all the other websites. So I haven't ordered it, but I do want it. It's called Fall's Gifts by Carriage House Samplings. And when I zoomed in and looked at it, I just fell in love with the little motifs. So that is one that I feel like I'm 100% going to get and stitch this year. So I just need to do it. And I just love it. I'm assuming I would need to stitch it on maybe a black Lugana or Jobelin, or I don't know. It's definitely a dark fabric. So the next one is by the same designer, Carriage House Samplings, and it is a new release. It's the Orange Tree Sampler. So I saw this on, I don't know, maybe social media or something around Nashville Needlework Market, and I just fell in love with it. The cat, the tree, the oranges. When I was little, my grandparents had retired to Florida, and they had an orange tree, and I remember going, they lived in St. Cloud, Florida, and I remember going down there. We went to like Disney World and stuff like that, and my brother and my step siblings and I, there's 4 of us, we went, and I remember the boys taking the oranges and throwing them in the neighbor's pool to be mean, and they got in trouble. So I just really, I don't know, I love that chart. So those are 2 items that are, I guess you'd say, on my radar right now. And I know it's a little early for fall, but that Fall's Gifts, I can't wait. Well, both of them really. I can't wait to get the opportunity to start them. So the next thing I have is haul. And the first one's going to be kind of like an anti-haul. So I'm just going to discuss this for a minute. I have mentioned this before. Okay, so let me get these out. I'm in this club. Well, I joined this club kind of knowing something like this would happen. This is the 12 Days of Christmas stockings. This is number 1. These are by Annie B's Folk Art. I saw these on social media and absolutely fell in love. Love, love, love. It's a yearly series. It's exclusive to Crazy Annie's Stitching. Now, I have been a member of one of their clubs in the past, and I was very unhappy with the customer service, so I canceled that club. So when I saw that this was exclusive to them, I had my reservations, but I signed up for the club because I fell in love with the stockings. And sure enough, it's been issue after issue after issue with receiving my items. Of the 4 that I had paid for, only 1 came on time. So the other 2 were very late, and the 4th one, I haven't even received. It was supposedly mailed out on April 15th, but I have not received it. And the thing is I feel like when you ask a question about it, or you try to get clarification, it's like, I feel like as a customer, I get degraded and like the blame put on the customer, and that's not right. Up until this last invoice, I've always paid them, and this time when I got the invoice, I said, I'm not paying for month 5 until I receive month 4. I just don't feel comfortable with it. Well, I got not a great response back, and I was just like, you can't treat your customers that way, and you just shouldn't go on Facebook and write like kind of nasty messages like, we're doing the best we can, blah blah blah. That's fine, but when it's like that for years and you're always, let me see how I can put this delicately. When the first ones were late, they added 100 spots. So they added 100 spots instead of making sure the first 300 were taken care of. So that's just the kind of thing. I just don't like getting nasty messages and seeing nasty messages on Facebook. And I thought, you know, I love this series, but I'm not sending my money every month to a company that treats their customers like that. And I've talked to a lot of other people who have had similar experiences. So I'm done with Crazy Annie's. I will never buy anything from them. I don't care if it's the most exclusive special chart in the world. I am not giving another dime to that company. No one else that I buy from comes close to that. You know, comes close. So, yeah, I'm done with them. So that's my anti-haul. So I'm holding on to these charts. I'm hoping that, you know, maybe in a year they will be available to stitch. The rest of them, I figure, you know, I have emailed Annie Bees to ask if there are plans in the future to release them to the public. So we'll see. If there are no plans to release them to the public, then I'll decide if I want to just complete what I have or if I want to sell it or give it away. I don't know. But I'm not going to make that decision right now. I'm just really aggravated right now because, yeah. Okay, so on to happier things. I've joined the Fortnite Fabric Club for their oodles, which is you get little pieces of little 9-inch squares to make for ornaments or smalls. So this was my first month getting it, and I'm happy. Now these are gonna look a little crazy because apparently their serger broke, so they didn't serge the edges. So I ran them through my machine and just zigzagged them, but I have not cleaned up the little scraggly. So if they look crazy, that's why. I don't have my whiteboard this time. I'll try to use maybe the back of the notebook. So the first one is this purple with gray. So this is great for Halloween. And the next one is similar, but it's purple with like a light gray or whitish. It's lighter. So it's coming off a little, the gray is the purple's coming off a little bit more gray on the camera, but in person it has more of a violet look. Very pretty. These are 32 count. And then this one is, oh, it's not showing up hardly at all. It's if you can see these blue, it's a cream with blue. In person, the blue shows up a lot better. That's closer. You know how it's hard to try to get this fabric to show. Hand-dyed, well, any fabric really is hard to show on a camera, but it's really pretty. It would be beautiful to stitch a winter piece on, like a winter sky background. So yeah, they're a little scraggly from that, but they sent a message, you know, saying they were sorry their serger had broke, and I understand. I mean, it's no problem. So I don't know how many months I'll do that. I don't need a ton of these, but I would like to get a little of kind of an assortment, and then maybe try a different type of club. Maybe like just getting a fat quarter or something. So my next piece of haul is from Rebel Stitcher, and I'm in the Cottage. This is a new club she just started. This is the first shipment. Cottage Garden Threads Club. So this is my first shipment of Cottage Garden Threads, and these are so cool. They're extremely variegated, and the first one is Buttercup, and there's like, I don't want to mess it up, but if you just kind of pull on it, okay. It's really pretty. And the next one is Hollyhock. So it's berry. It's like a deep raspberry. and mauve. Oh, it's so pretty. The next one is Mabel, and I was eyeballing this on online. I'm so glad it came. Teal and aquas are my favorite color. So Mabel. There we go. And last but not least is Larkspur. Look at that. That's like an Easter egg, so which I'm going to show you. And this would, if I didn't already have that confetti for Weeks Dye Works, this would have been a good one for my autism stitch. So when I saw this, I thought of this chart. This was Stitchy Kindness from Candy, and those charts she sent me. So this is like a Quaker egg, and I thought, how cool would it be to stitch that in this floss? It would work perfectly. So that was my idea. I really like that. I think that's an every other month club. It's not monthly. And these are more expensive. You're definitely paying for the specialty dyeing, and they're from Australia. So they cost more to ship, but I'm really, really happy with them. So that's Cottage Garden Threads. And you can buy these on Fat Quarter Shop, Etsy. I'm not sure what other stores have them, but you can buy them. So with these 4, I now have 6 colors, and I'm really, really, really happy. I'm excited to build my stash of those. So that's it for haul. And the only other thing I have is plans. So I have put up some spring stuff and pulled out a couple patriotic things. I have, well, I can't show you this, but one thing I kind of would like to start is a Wisdom of Wombats from Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. So I did print the PDF of that to kind of see if I can get that up. I pulled these out of my PDF binder. This is the May snapshot. This is the only snapshot I own. I bought the PDF. It's really hard. The glare is hard to... I bought the PDF of this. It's the only one I have because I just really love that bicycle. But I should have pulled it out before May. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually start this one, but it's not very big. Finished size is 4x6. And then I pulled 2 more PDFs. These are Stitching with the Housewives that I bought like last year when they had some kind of sale on their PDFs. And the first one is America the Beautiful. And the second one is one of the little ones, and it's Proud to be an American. So I pulled those to maybe start, but I don't have any definite plans. I just, you know, I'm very much like whatever I feel like that day. So if I feel like it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. Now, if you stuck with me this long, I have a request. Janet Jabber has been showing, she has like a feature friend every week, and she has been showing their stitching. So they email her a picture of their stitching, and she talks about it and shares it. And I thought, I think that's really awesome, because not everybody wants to do a floss tube. Not everybody has time to do a floss tube. There's various different reasons why they don't have the desire or time or whatever to do floss tube. So I would like to copy Janet, kind of. You know, not the exact thing, but something similar. And I would like to showcase your stitching. So my idea is that at the end of my videos, to have a slideshow of any stitching that you would like to share. So I think I could do just general, you can send me whatever, or I could give you a theme. So I think for my first time, I'm going to use first. So what I would like to see is if you would like to take a picture of your first cross stitch project that you have. So it may not be the first one you've ever done, because it could have gotten lost, you could have given away as a gift, it could be, who knows. But the first project that you have done that you can take a picture of, send it to me through my email, crystalrowe96@gmail.com. It will be in the description box. And just give me the information that you have. If you don't have the name or anything like that, that's fine. If you don't have it anymore, you can just maybe the year you think you stitched it, or how old you were, anything like that, and I will just add that to the screen. I think it'd be really fun. If you don't want me to use your name, or if you don't care, you can just say whatever. Just email me the picture, give me whatever info you're comfortable sharing. I will say this: if you don't specify about your name, I will just use your first name. And if you want your full name used, put your full name. If you don't want your name used, just put, please don't use my name, or use my YouTube name, or whatever. So I just think it'd be fun at the end of my floss tubes to have like a virtual whip parade, if that makes sense, or fully finished parade, or whatever. So this week we're going to do that. It doesn't have to be completed. It can be the first thing you started that you never finished. I just want to see your first stitch, even if it's only one row of stitches, or if it's fully finished and framed, whatever you want to share. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I remember when Fat Quarter Shop, in their early floss tube days, they would show things that other people were working on, and I miss that. They stopped for whatever reason, but I miss seeing what other people are working on. So let's try this out. Let's see how it goes. So just send me an email. Whether it's one person or 20 people, I will just do a slideshow and just add that in. So I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for sticking with me this long. And I wish you all well. Bye.